Hi everyone. We bought this volcano kit at Walmart and we are so excited to make it. So we're going to make it right now and we're going to film while we're making it. And we are just super duper excited. Hope you enjoy this video. The first thing it says is to build our mold. It says we get a large disposable container. Where's the large disposable container? Oh, what to get. These are what we need. We need a large disposable container. We need a measuring cup, and we need newspapers or a baking sheet. So if you get this kit, you're going to need those three things. So we're going to go get those and come back. Okay, so this is the mold for the volcano. There's little holes that you snap in, and then it comes with a rubber band. It says to use the rubber band to hold it together. The only way that'll work is if you put the rubber band in these little grooves, and then it will hold it together. Otherwise, it does not hold it together. I'm assuming we're going to put it... I really feel like it isn't together enough because there are cracks in it, but I don't know what else to do. So we've got that together. We've got the rubber band on it. It says it'll keep the walls, the rubber band is supposed to keep the walls securely in place. You just got to be sure you use the little groove there. Then it says to prepare your plaster. So we're going to pour 250 ml or 1 cup of water into a large disposable container. Okay, so this is what we're using for our container. It's an old shoebox that is ready to kick the bucket anyway. So I'm going to go get our cup of water and pour it in there. So we're going to pour our cup of water into the bowl here. And then we're going to use scissors to cut the top of the plastic bag to open it. Didn't tell us we needed scissors, but you will be needing scissors, okay? So this is the volcano plaster that comes with it. So we're going to cut that. And then there's this popsicle stick that they provide. And it says to stir it until it's the consistency like a milkshake. Gradually add your plaster to the water while stirring until all your plaster is blended smoothly. Normally takes 1 to 2 minutes of stirring for the plaster to mix the right consistency. The plaster is ready when it reaches a thick but pourable consistency. So somebody stir while I gradually pour this in. So, you know, the one thing with this kit is definitely don't just buy it and let your kids, you know, it does require adult supervision. For me, it's so tempting just want to pour the whole thing in. I hate it when it says gradually. Even when I'm doing recipes, when it says gradually, I just pour the whole thing in there. Whew. So, here I go. So, the plaster, I'm assuming, is going to be to actually make the volcano.
Does not seem like there's enough water.
I say to put a cup of water, but if we wanted to make like a milkshake, we definitely are going to need more water. We just spilled some plaster on the floor.
It's splattered. Yeah, we're gonna need a lot more water.
Get this up before it sticks and parties. Okay, so we are going to need to put more water in it. So the 1 cup of water. So for that, I will gradually add water. Because right now it's thick like dough. So if we want it to be a milkshake, look. What's interesting that we didn't know before is once the plaster is mixed and ready, pour it into the volcano mold, which is this. After pouring, gently tap the sides of the mold to remove any air bubbles, and then we're supposed to let it stand for 30 to 45 minutes. We're going to let Vidalia pour it in. Once we get the mixture made, we'll let her pour it in. You think you need more water?
No, I think it's good.
Because it does show that you should be able to pour it in the picture. What do you think? Okay, they can't see it on the... So, it's really a little thicker than the consistency of milkshake.
Well, if I could add a little more water.
We're just going to add like a tablespoon of water. Yeah, that's kind of starting to look more like milkshake, huh? You agree?
Yeah.
She agrees.
It's like melted ice cream.
Melted ice cream, yeah, that's what a milkshake's supposed to be, right? Yeah. I love melted ice cream. I'd rather have melted ice cream than hard ice cream. Not that we're making ice cream now, but if you're a child and you're mixing this, please do not eat it. It's not ice cream.
Okay.
Okay, so now we just pour it into the mold.
Very gently.
Very gently so the mold doesn't fall apart, which would be so embarrassing.
I'm covered in plaster.
And you have some on your dress too. You better wipe that real quick. There's a roll of paper towels up on the wall like in your bathroom.
Yeah, like on my face and hair.
Yeah.
It's kind of splattering at me.
You probably should have wore an apron, maybe some gloves even, a hairnet. The kind of things they did not provide for us.
Yeah, it's also a good thing we're not going anywhere else today because I would have to change my outfit if we were. I guess I'll wash my hands later. It's like go back again.
Okay, so then it says to gently tap the mold on the sides to remove any air bubbles. I see one little air bubble right there. Go away, little air bubble. There, now I got plaster on my scissors. Okay, now we need to let it set for 30 to 45 minutes. So rather than making you sit there and watch it setting, which would be like so boring, we're going to come back in like 45 minutes and finish up our volcano. Okay, so we've let it set way longer than 45 minutes. But now we're going to work on taking the mold off and smoothing out any indentations from the mold. So since it said that the rubber band was holding the mold together, I'm going to take the rubber band off and see if it will just easily fall apart. Yeah. Although I'm not holding my breath about that, but hey, it's worth a try. Okay, so as we can see, there we go. Now, I think our volcano is supposed to stay on the stand or no? It doesn't really stay, does it?
No, because the little hole here is where we're going to put our eruption mixture.
Okay.
Which will then cause like 2 erupt.
But the good news is that if you were to buy more materials, you could technically reuse this mold.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, it doesn't really look like we have that many like imperfections to.
Yeah, because I think
fix.
like these here is for the lava to go through.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, because the lines that it wanted you to like smooth out were from where the mold.
Yeah,
came
so
together.
there's one on this side. Where's the little?
I do not know.
Oh, here it is. It just blends right in.
Yeah.
So like there's, I don't know if you guys can see it. Boy, that's heavy.
It is a little heavy.
It is heavy. There's like a seam here.
Yeah, I think you're supposed to use like water to like smooth it out.
Well, it didn't say that in the instructions, so remember that it may not say it in the instructions, but it doesn't mean.
Yeah, because I think we're supposed to smooth it out while it's still a little wet.
Okay, so put a little water in that, and we'll see if we can't smooth it out.
It still has a little bit of water left.
Does it? Oh, it does. Okay,
Yeah.
so I'm going to just try putting some on the stick and see what happens.
I was like, the lines really weren't that prominent. Like,
This one kind of is, though.
yeah, the other two really weren't.
I feel like I should have a nail file and just throw it off.
Yeah.
No, I don't know. And I honestly don't know why it's all that important to do that.
Yeah, because volcanoes really aren't perfect.
Exactly.
There's always little imperfections.
Yeah, see, like if I do that, I feel like it's moving.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's an actual crack, you know? So I'm feeling like, I'm kind of feeling like I want to just leave it like it is. So I kind of like the way the volcano looks though, because you can see here there's, I don't know if you guys can see that there's like little grooves here where the lava will come down when the volcano erupts, which is kind of cool. You can see a couple here. So our next step now is to let it set for 2 days. So
It says to let it dry for 1 to 2 days.
1 to 2 days.
Because you want to make sure your volcano is perfectly dry before you go and paint it.
Yeah.
And then once you get it all painted, you let the paint dry, and then you can work on creating the eruption.
The eruption. So the process draws out for a few days. So if you're doing it as a science experiment or something, just remember that you kind of need to start a few days before your project is due. So once it's stood the 1 to 2 day test, then we will come back and show you the painting, and then let the paint dry, and then we'll show you the eruption, which, yeah. So unfortunately, we don't get instant gratification with this kit, but it's still kind of fun to be able to make the volcano too. I kind of like that idea. So we'll see you in 2 days after it dries. To you, it's going to be like a split second, but for us, it's 2 days. So it's time to paint our volcano. It doesn't really give instructions on how to paint it, but from the picture, we are looking like you're going to do the brown here, and in the grooves right here, like you're going to do the red with maybe some yellow in it for the lava flow. So it did come with these 3 colors and this paintbrush. Since we had 3 colors, we went ahead and got 2 of our own paintbrushes, so we wouldn't have to be constantly cleaning them. And then we did get some napkins so that we could, try to keep everything clean. So we were thinking we did have to use scissors to cut the caps off. So we keep that in mind. So it looks like we haven't cut them yet.
Oh, it's because, no wonder. So you're going to have to cut those. So we're going to, and see if, was that enough? That was not enough.
And I was like, it doesn't really tell you like where to
Okay.
cut.
There, good thing I have napkins because I got brown paint on my scissors. Okay. So I think I'm going to start with the lava and do like a red while Kalisha's painting brown. We'll put my little dot here so it's closer to me. The paint is really thick.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then after I paint it red, I'm going to go ahead and put some yellow streaks in it, but I'll have to wait probably till, I don't know, I'll have to wait till it dries or not. I might want to blend it. Okay.
That one went flying.
So we are going to have, just make sure you have a pair of scissors handy. Again, this needs to be done with parental supervision. And yeah, we're just going to start painting. So we're going to go ahead and paint it, and then we'll show you once we have the brown and the red in, so you can see what we do with the yellow. Okay, so we'll be right back. So this is our volcano so far, and the paint actually dried very quickly. There's just like a couple spots where we touched up. So what we thought we would do is take the yellow and just like do some type of streaks or something in the red to make it look like live lava. But I think I like, oh, that is not quite dry yet. It looks really realistic. I'm thinking how cool that is. What do you guys think? You think it's cool? Looks like a real volcano. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can figure out how to do the yellow. Hopefully, you notice that we painted the inside red. I was just going to kind of go, just like, I don't know if that looks right or not, but I know that usually with the volcanoes there is a little bit of yellow. So
I think that's so you guys can see what we're doing.
So, and what do you think, Kalisha?
I think it looks really realistic.
Yeah, so there's 3 streams going through, so we'll just do that to the 3 streams. The paint dries really fast, so that is kind of cool. So we'll be right back. It's almost time for the explosion. Okay, so it says add half a teaspoon. Anyway, we finished painting it. We just put some yellow streaks through some of the, whoop. It's a little heavy. Yeah. Because it's plaster. We just put some yellow streaks in there. I think it looks really cool. So now, making our volcano erupt, we're going to add a half a teaspoon of the eruption powder A.
My capper.
Did it give us a teaspoon?
No. We have to grab a teaspoon.
Okay, so I need to go grab a teaspoon, or actually it's half a teaspoon.
So we'll be right back with that. I'm going to need the scissors.
Okay, so we're going to put half a teaspoon of the eruption powder in the, and okay,
Do we need
half a teaspoon of the eruption, which comes in the kit. Oops. I had the camera on top of the measuring spoon. Sorry about that, folks.
Alright, so here's eruption powder A going into the volcano.
And then we need a half a teaspoon of eruption powder be? And again, I want to make it clear that we need parental supervision because we are looking at sodium bicarbonate and citric acid.
Yes, so please have your parent supervise this or have your parent pour the mixture in for you.
Yes.
Right. And there's
Okay, then it says to mix the powders together.
I'm just going to use our stick from before and mix it all nice and evenly together. Alright, there we go. Everything's all nice and mixed.
Okay, now it says to fill your measuring cup with 1 cup of water.
So we have our 1 cup of water right
Well,
here.
that's more than that's a cup and a half.
It's a cup and a half, but
We're only going to use a cup because that's what the instructions say. So it says pour the water into the top of the volcano a little at a time and sit back as the volcano erupts. So here we go. Whoa, look at that. Oh, that is so cool. Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it.
yeah, there's the erupting volcano.
So we're going to do, because you can make your volcano erupt extra bubbly. And to do that, we're going to repeat the steps we just did, but add several drops of dish soap to the volcano. So we decided we wanted to see what would happen if we did that.
Yeah, so.
Is there water in there?
Yeah.
I would take one of the napkins and just kind of like,
Yes.
you know, fold it in half and just let it soak up the water because it probably isn't that much in there.
It looks like a smoke cloud.
Yeah. To get most of it out?
Yeah. There's still a little bit left.
Because we didn't want to lift it because we wanted to kind of, because you could technically lift it and pour it out, but we were kind of like not wanting to do that because we liked that the lava was on the ground.
Okay.
So we want to see what happens when you add the dish soap. So we're going to do half a teaspoon each again.
There's.
It doesn't say when to add the dish soap, but I'm thinking you'd have to add it before you put the water in.
I think so too. And you can do this like as many times as your powder will allow you to as well.
I'm going to tell you a secret. Sodium bicarbonate is basically baking soda. And citric acid, you can buy a small container of that on Amazon. If you wanted to use the soda bottle to do this, you could. We might just do that just so you can see.
Yeah. Alright, so there we go. Gonna take our dish soap.
Just says put several drops. Doesn't say how many, just says several. Ooh, now let's see what happens.
It's already starting to bubble.
I know, I saw that.
It smells so good.
It smells. It's going to be the nicest smelling volcano there. Here we go. We're pulling the water in with the dish soap. Look at that. I love it. Oh, look at the lava. Oh, it's so cool.
I think I like it more with the dish soap.
Yeah, me
So
too.
bubbly.
And it changes the color too of the lava. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I think we've used up all of our citric acid and baking soda.
Oh, it's still like bubbling up at the top.
I think our volcano just went dormant. Wow, how cool is that? I'm so excited. I like the way that worked. I think it was well worth the $11 we paid for the kit.
Yeah. Pineapple runs clear.
So I mean, like, you can do something like this with a soda bottle. You just don't get the effect, you know, of the look of the volcano unless you got some clay and kind of shaped it around.
Yeah.
Or painted the bottle. Might give you a little bit of an effect. So what do you think? You think
That was fun.
that was fun? You think that would be worth paying $11 for the kit for your kids to kind of
Yeah.
get to experiment with that?
Yeah, I would probably buy this for my niece and nephew as well.
Yeah.
Maybe once they get a little older.
Right, yeah, not like when they're two, yeah. So anyway, leave a comment. Let us know what you thought of our little volcano experiment with the volcano kit we bought at Walmart. Thanks for watching. We really appreciate you guys. Have a good day. Bye-bye. It was really fun to do this. I'm really excited that we got it. I just wanted to remind you of the things that you will need that don't actually come in the kit. So you're going to need water, scissors, extra brushes, some dish soap if you want the extra bubbly one, a cookie sheet covered with aluminum foil, a half a teaspoon measuring spoon, a measuring cup, and we used a 4-cup glass measuring cup. And you're also going to need a disposable bowl. So you will need to just make sure you have those things on hand so that you'll have everything you need to do the volcano. And remember that the plaster, the clay plaster that we used took 2 days to dry. So, you know, it does take a little bit of time in between, but the paint dries really quickly. So that's a good point there. Almost as soon as we were done painting, we were able to do the eruption. Once again, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you enjoyed this video, and we'll see you in the next one. Bye-bye.